everybody, the fat vegan here, the girl who is trying to lose 200 pounds by going on a more plant-based diet. Today I want to talk to you about something that has been on my heart lately that really surprised me in all of the research that I've been doing. And that is the fact that the American Medical Association does not require nutrition training for doctors. Yeah, let me just say that again. The American Medical Association, the AMA, does not require nutrition training for doctors. So when you go to your doctor, your primary care physician, whoever, and you, cardiologist, whatever, and you ask them about what you should be eating or what the best things are to eat, it's just going to be like asking your best friend. They, of course, have more experience under their belt. They've seen lots of cases, and they've probably come in contact with some of the research, right? But they're not required to do that training. And that really kind of blew my mind. We know without a doubt from all the studies and all, you do any kind of research out there whatsoever, and you know that almost everything is preventable by diet. There's evidence to this effect over and over and over again for all chronic diseases. Yet still only 1/5 of American medical schools require nutrition training. And that's not because the AMA tells them to, it's just because that they require them. And of those schools that require it, they require very minimal. Like, I believe it was less than 25 hours over 4 years. So compared to all the other training that they have had to do, that is minimal. So when I went to different doctors and I asked about my health, and I told them I wanted to start a different diet because I was tired of the way that I was feeling. I had a physical, and my blood pressure was high. I was borderline diabetic, borderline anemic, all this stuff. And I realized that I wanted to be healthier. Okay. And it wasn't about losing weight. It was about being healthier. I knew that I had to lose weight to do that. But every time I asked them about this, I got so many different answers. And all of them were really kind of, I don't want to be mean, but they were kind of wishy-washy. Like they were, well, it really just depends on who you are. And, I find that all different types of diets really work best based on the individual. And it wasn't that they didn't know, because I had a feeling that they had a pretty good idea of what was good and what wasn't. But it was almost like they were trying to be politically correct. In today's day and age, everybody is so scared about saying anything because they're probably afraid, and I don't really blame them. They're probably afraid of being sued or, hurting somebody or getting in trouble with something that they've said that they shouldn't have. And so they're very, very careful not to be too blatant when it comes to health and nutrition. I really found this surprising. Like, I guess I always knew that, but it really, really surprised me. I've noticed that more often than not, when I went to the different doctors, and I tried out several in the last couple of years, that they almost always went for medication first. Oh, you're struggling with depression? Here, let me write you a prescription. Oh, you've got fatigue, chronic fatigue, can't sleep? Here, let me prescribe you something, When we know without a doubt that diet is the cause of all of this, okay? Now, you can say that, yeah, most people know that it's diet and that they know that they need to eat better. But I don't think it really hit me until I started doing this research, how much of a correlation there is between diet and preventing and helping and lowering these diseases. I mean, it shows you the numbers, straight up scientific numbers, over and over and over again. And you know what? Maybe we should know that, but you have to assume that the average person is stupid. I was a programmer for so many years, and we always, you always assume that the end user doesn't really know anything and that you have to start from scratch teaching the absolute basics. And whether or not it's hard to have these conversations, because being an obese person, trust me, doctors, I understand what it's like trying to talk to us. And if they get upset, if they get mad, if they leave you, go to a different doctor, you can at least say you did your best. But you need to talk to these people. You need to tell people that diet, your diet, not dieting. Okay. I'm not talking about dieting. I'm talking about diet, like the noun diet, like what you eat, has a direct impact on your health. Every single aspect of your health, not just the chronic diseases. And there are a million of them, like I made a list: heart disease, diabetes, stroke, asthma, hypertension, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, hepatitis, cancer, chronic heart disease or coronary heart disease, bipolar, mood disorders, anxiety, sleep disorders. Beside even those, even the other stuff like headaches and recovering from like a knee surgery, or recovering from gastric bypass surgery, which is like become so popular nowadays. I know at least 3 or 4 people that have done it, and all of this, all of it can either be negated completely or reduced. All of it can be negated completely with, or at least reduced significantly with diet. Not even diet and exercise, just diet alone, by what you eat. And I think that it's the doctor's responsibility to make sure that every single person knows that. It doesn't matter if they're obese or not, if they're old or young, especially if they're young, I see your child gain this much weight in this amount of time. Just to let you know, if you want to be healthier and try to curb cancer before it happens, this is the kind of stuff that you should eat. Blah, 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 whatever. I think that it's just something that's not talked about enough today. And yes, it's getting more popular. You can see the different products out there. Okay. The more people doing the plant-based protein type meals and lifestyles, and the vegan celebrities who are all about the cute little animals. But I mean, when I was younger, I definitely knew what was good and what was bad. And now, even as an adult, I know what's good and bad. But the last couple of years, when I've done these different diets, before I did the plant-based diet, I really looked at some of the stuff that I was eating. And I got so frustrated because I didn't know what was good and what was bad. And it's no wonder. I mean, these marketing people are so good at what they do. I mean, everything had something to the fact that it might be healthy on it. I mean, yogurt said, low in fat. Okay, yeah, it's low in fat, but did you happen to notice how much sugar's in there? No, they don't tell you that, right? I mean, you have to look at your overall health, non-GMO, low carbs. It's everywhere. And I got so overwhelmed by what I should eat and what I shouldn't, that it was really difficult. And I wanted to go to my doctor and I wanted to say, listen, I want to know what's going on and what really is healthy for me, But in the end, I had to do my own research and start reading the books. And I went plant-based because to me, it's the most natural, seems to be the most obvious, greens, things I pick out of the ground are going to be healthier than some plant-based meat package that I get from the store. Yes, it might be better than regular meat, but it's still in a package and they have to add stuff to preserve it and process it. And I just don't always know. So when it comes down to it, if I'm not sure what to eat, I go for natural. I go for the fruits, the nuts, the vegetables, the whole grains, the seeds, because I know that's what God intended and that's what that's what came from the earth. So I think that is going to be my best option. But it really, really bothers me that there isn't more knowledge of this out there, and that our country as a whole allows this kind of marketing and strategy and bad foods to continue going. I know that there are things in our food that other countries have already banned, that we still have today, and yet doctors continue to talk about this obesity epidemic, with the chronic illnesses, but it can be prevented. So why aren't people screaming that louder at the top of their lungs? Because they really should be. You know, maybe somebody will sit up and listen one of these days. In any case, there has to be something done about this. I just wanted to put my opinion out there. It's been bothering me lately, and I kind of feel like it should have been said. Another thing is that I have noticed that when I looked up ways that the AMA educated or were trying to educate their doctors in nutrition, I have noticed in the last 10, 20 years, you know, since the veganism and all of that started becoming more popular, Whole Foods, all of that, that they've been getting a little bit more slack on it. And so I looked up to see if they had done anything. And the first thing that came up was a 3-hour online course that doctors could take if they wanted to about nutrition and how to talk to their patients. And then there was one about, in 2016, the FDA made a video on how to read a nutrition label, and the AMA applauded this effort and said it was wonderful that they were making this video so that doctors could watch it to see how to read a nutrition label and explain it to their patients. We need to be doing more. This is coming from a morbidly obese person who has been eating this junk her entire life and not really realizing what I'm eating and what it actually causes, only because there's so much conflicting evidence. I mean, I still remember milk, it does a body good, from when I was a kid. Milk, it does a body good, but does it really? That's for you to find out. Do your own research. That's all I'm saying. Do your own research. Fat vegan out.